Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of July 12th through the 18th. And during that time, we have a waning crescent moon that starts us off for the week. That's a really good time of stability and calm. Good time for us to be thoughtful and think about how we've grown in this last cycle, those things that we've done. To be self-reflective. What is it that you might want to start when the new moon comes around, because that happens on the 14th. So, of course, that's a time for fresh starts and new beginnings. So we need to do that evaluation before that time rolls around, because then after that we have the waxing crescent, and that is a time of heightened senses when we start to implement those things that we want to do, that we've decided on with the new moon. So please keep all of those moon energies in mind, ever changing this week, but keep those in mind as we're rolling through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter, Aquarius. So, as always, please take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't here on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is it is a time to give rather than take. All right, let's see what the Aquarius Collective has going on for the week. As I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder this week, and this does go along with that new moon energy, is that you learn something new this week. So find a topic, something maybe you've been thinking about over the last few weeks, something that came up that you're like, I don't know anything about that. Should I know something about that? Sometimes you should, sometimes it doesn't matter. But find a topic that you are interested in or feel like you need to know something about, and do a deep dive. Give yourself an hour or two to either read a book, take a class, listen to a lecture, that sort of thing, and just really educate yourself on it. Just really do a deep dive and get in, take notes, and really know it when you come out on the other end of it. So, all right, Aquarius, let's get into this reading, July 12th through the 18th, a time to give rather than take. Your present energy is the Two of Swords. So, if it's a time to give rather than take, first you're just you can't make a decision. So maybe there's so many places to give that you're not sure where to start. So think it through, give yourself a little bit of time, but make that decision. And maybe if you're getting this message and it kind of just spurs this, like, oh, where I could give here, I could give there. Where is it that you can be most giving, really, of your time, your energy, that sort of things. Maybe someone, a friend around you, someone might just need that. So just look around and see who that might be, or what it might be that needs your attention right now. Your current situation is the Queen of Wands. So you're definitely in control of the things that you are passionate about, and you're very understanding about it. So it could be someone that you're able to see their passion for something as well, and you would like to contribute to that. Give them a hand, do something. But remember, it is a time for you to be giving right now. At the root of your situation is the Two of Pentacles. So you're definitely trying to keep everything in the air as you're doing this. And I think the message here is go ahead and do the giving, but also do that. Keep things in the air. Also, it brings us to having number two. So look up angel number 22 and see if that has any bearing on your week this week. In your recent past, is that Nine of Cups here is about being like very satisfied, just very satisfied with things that are going on, probably very satisfied in your emotional life. Like you're just in a good place, you're in a good mood, where you're in a good place where you feel like you can give. And like I said, this might be emotionally that you might, sometimes it is monetarily, but many times it's people around you just might need that extra hug, extra, just hang out. You might have a friend that you see as maybe a little down in the depths, and make a coffee date, do something, go do something, go to the zoo, do something fun to maybe bring that friend up a little bit, right? You have the ability with this Queen of Wands to look around and see who's going to need that. What is on your mind this week is the World card, which is about being in balance, perfect balance. The World card is the end of the road in the major arcana for the Fool. It's the last card that the Fool encounters, but it's about things being in harmony and unity. It's about dreams coming true, and it is kind of the end of it's like a good happy ending, and that's on your mind. So, and I think if you're having a good happy ending right now, you want others around you to do that as well. So I think that's where that's coming in. You're seeing that in yourself, and now you want to see that in others as well, which is great. What is just ahead of you this week is the Chariot. So you might be getting ready to make a move, and this is kind of gathering information. So that's maybe a little bit of something that's on your mind this week as well. This could be gathering any information for, um, like I said, learning. We're in that new moon thing. So it might be, I want to do this thing and I want to get it started, but I need to learn something about it. Let me go gather some of that information before I make a plan or make a step. And this could be something as simple as, maybe you want to do a garden and you're like, I would like to put some things out, but I need to learn about which plants and what works with my zone and how do I take care of them? Do I have the space to do what, something as simple as that you're gathering that information so that you can make a move on something that you want to do moving forward. In your advice position here is the Three of Pentacles. So, when it comes to making that move, you might collaborate with others around you that know more than you do. The Three of Pentacles is about that kind of creative collaboration with others and bringing other people in. So maybe this friend, that you see around you, that might be someone, and then maybe there's just someone who knows a little bit more than you about something you're interested in, and that could be a part of your learning about it this week. What is beyond your control? Wheel of Fortune. I love this. The Wheel of Fortune is about evolving, and it's about how our life changes from one day to the next. So while you're gathering information on something, it's something that will eventually change your life. Like I said, here, I'm using gardening as an example. Of course, it could be anything under the sun, but the Wheel of Fortune means that you're studying this thing and learning, and you're going to put this garden in, and your life next week is going to be a little different because you've got a couple of tomato plants growing out there, and there's some peppers that'll be coming in and some lettuce, and you'll be having a salad that you grew yourself before long. That's an involvement, that is fortune. That is something that you've done something positive to grow something. So it's beyond your control that something positive will come out of everything that happens to you this week. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Three of Cups. I hope that's your secret desire. I don't know if anyone that's trying to avoid celebrating with friends and family, getting together to have a good time. Also, that puts two threes on the table. So, angel number 22 and 33. You need to be looking up, see if those have any bearing. But I hope it's your secret desire. I mean, if you're trying to avoid that, maybe you need to ask yourself why. And you might not be feeling very social, and that's okay. But that's you're asking yourself this question: do I want to be social this week, or do I not? And there's no right or wrong. Just understand the reason for your answer, right? In your outcome position is the Fool card. So, time to give rather than take, and that giving leads to you being off onto a new journey. Again, I use the garden as an example, but it could just be anything that you're learning this week. You're growing, and it's going to make you do new things. It makes you feel new feelings. So that's always nice, and that's what the Fool is definitely about, is a new journey, just taking a leap of faith off into something. Something has wrapped up here, so now anytime we have endings like that, then it is time for a beginning. So that makes perfect sense to me that would come up. And it could be anything under the sun here. Um, there's nothing even really specific, but you definitely need to think about where you're giving, where you're giving to friends, family, people around you, and in what way can you give this week. All right, what is hidden from you here? This card has been hidden so much. I feel like I've had 3 or 4 different readings with this specific card in it, and that's very interesting. This is things that are happening, things that are coming in very rapidly, and I don't feel like your week is like that. I feel like your week is pretty mellow. Of course, you are entering off into this new path and wrapping something up, but it's not like there's a whole lot going on this week or a whole lot of things to think about and do. Learn a little bit of something, relax, hang out, enjoy some things, enjoy some time with your friends. All right, let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Aquarius as they have this pretty mellow week, which is good. Sometimes it's just nice to have a nice, relaxing, not a whole lot going on week. I like those. All right, final message for you, Aquarius, is to be creative. And here, this was in your advice position too, is this creative collaboration. So be creative this week. Let things come to you, relax. Let those ideas kind of come in and flow to you, and whatever. Of course, I use the garden as an example, but that could be any other creative endeavor that you might be gathering info or learning how to do, which I think is fun. I mean, I think creativity is so, so important, and that we try to engage some way creatively every week. To me, that's the enjoyable part. The enjoyable things in life that we do for me is being very, very creative. All right, let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care. Self-care for Aquarius this week. And the card that you get is the card that says Speak Up, which I think Capricorn just had this. If you avoid conflict to keep the peace, you start a war inside yourself. So make sure in whatever your interactions are this week that you do speak up, speak your mind. Even if you're creatively collaborating, don't let things go by. If you have something to say, just open up and say it. I think it's going to be fine. I wish you the best of luck, Aquarius, on this new journey. I think this is your card also. I'm still trying to get a grasp on the astrology of the tarot, which is a very, very complicated system to learn. But sometimes a card jumps out at me, and I do remember that the Fool is also the card of Aquarius. So I love that it's a new journey for you, and take off and just really enjoy it. So I hope there's something in this reading that you can take away and use in your life in a positive way this week. Of course, if you're comfortable sharing, drop me a comment. Let me know, how were you creative this week? What was the information you were gathering? What is the new journey that you're on? I think that's very exciting, and I'd love to hear what that is. But make sure you are creative in whatever it is that you do, and take the time to give rather than take this week. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe is really helpful to me. I thank you so much in advance for doing that, and good luck with all of this. I will see you next week. Bye bye.